All right, Aries. Let's start at the beginning. Lover's card. And this looks like it was the main focus for you for a while. This could be either releasing a love relationship or creating a new one. It does feel like some things have released from a love relationship, and doesn't necessarily mean it's a lover. It could be someone in your heart that you were in disagreement with. But the Lover's card is here. So it does feel that you're kind of cleaning things off on your partnership, Aries. For many of those, it may be dusting the partnership area off because you haven't had a partner in a while. But it does feel like some big shifts and big changes are coming or have already come to your relationship space. I am feeling like this is a little bit staticky, so you may have gone through some tumultuous things with a partner. If you didn't release that partner, most likely you are working together to build a more equal footing on your relationship. But in general, it does look like some challenging communication has happened with either a lover, potential lover, or past lover. It does feel like there was a bit of a battle and possibly a separation for a moment. This will either release you from that agreement, since the Ace of Swords is here, or it will bring you closer together. But this does feel like some separation has happened between a couple, whether it's friends, family members, or actual spouse or lover. But someone in your heart that you've had to take some physical separation from. It does feel like you have a lot of projects that you've been looking at. It doesn't feel like you have manifested them yet into the physical realm. So you may be just thinking, and this can stand for the overthinker card too, when we are just looking and not making any motion. So Aries, I encourage you to take that first step. Just pick one project and see it through to completion. But it does feel like you have a lot of thoughts happening and really not knowing which way to go to start on your new journey. You know, most of us have really done a lot of work over the last 12 or 18 months, and now the slate is pretty much clean for many of us, if not all the signs, and now it's time to start anew. But it does feel like there's a little bit of confusion on how to make that happen. It does feel like you've been propelled into a new space and kind of juggling new priorities or new leadership roles, or but it does feel like brand new kind of slate, and that you're a little confused on your first step on which way to go first, which direction to pick. So just pick one for the time being and finish it to completion, and then it'll be a lot clearer for you when things line up. The orange is lighting up here for me as well. It feels like that many of you have done some work on your physical body, on your earth suit, so your physical body may be healing. It may be a long-term illness, or just making a commitment to like a new diet or exercise program. But it does feel like you are putting your health, making it a priority when it's kind of not been a priority for a while. So that is what's crossing you, Aries. The Ace of Swords here, this is one of the Gods card, kind of like gifted to you by God's hand. That's kind of the analogy that works great with aces. You are firmly on your path. It does look like you deviated a little bit, had a little static. This also can stand for cutting words. It is above the Lover's card, so I'm feeling that you may have had a pretty big fight or a pretty big disagreement with a lover or partner that is either resolved or released. But it does feel like it was long overdue, and it feels like there were some things out of balance, either in the relationship or in the household. So it does look like, even though this was a little uncomfortable and it might have made some sweeping changes, those changes really needed to happen. But it does look like something has cut you to the core is what I'm feeling like with this disagreement, that some things were said that were really cutting and really hurtful. So it does look like you aren't able to go back. You can only go forward in this relationship, together or apart. And for those of you that aren't in a relationship, just clearing out that space and getting ready to commit, or at least be willing to commit your heart again. So it does look like the Ace of Swords came in and kind of cleaned everything out very suddenly, kind of like swooping. And it does feel like some aggravation. It does feel like maybe some cruel words were was exchanged, and to get this energy moving. You know, everything happens for a reason. Even though it was painful, it did facilitate some change and some movement. So that looks like something that has happened in the recent past. And what is happening in the near past is the 4. And the 4 is kind of the runaway and hide card. So I'm glad that's in the past, Aries, and it's not in the present time. But it does feel like with all this disagreement, tumultuousness, and very rapid change, that you kind of retreated a little bit, Aries, and hid out before you made a decision. So I encourage you to start making some decisions if you haven't already. It does look like you're looking at making them. There is only one here in the manifestation area. So I encourage you to finish that to completion and then pick a new thing too. Don't run away and hide. You know, doing nothing about a situation is a choice, as well as being proactive in those changes. So I encourage you, Aries, to be the driver of the ship, and don't let life pass you by sitting in the decision space for too long. It's time to put some motion into all those decisions and just take one step into your future, and that helps you continue to making steps towards the future. But it does look like at some point you kind of ran away and hid a little bit. But that is in the past position. What is in the present position is justice. And this can be anything from a legal, something legal or something emotional. Justice basically is righting a wrong, whether it was done to you or you have done it to someone else. It is above the Lovers, which is above the tumultuous argument card, kind of the cutting words card. So there may be an apology coming to you, or, you know, making those changes. You may feel that it was a better choice for you and that it was better balance. But it does feel like a wrong will be righted this month. Could be an apology. It could be just moving forward into your life and just living your best life. You know, the best revenge in life is living well. So the Justice card is in present. The Knight of Swords is here. So you've got a couple of knights and some swords in some prevalent places. So it does feel like your words have been a little cutting lately, and that your thoughts may have been a little jumbled. It does feel like that is coming more into balance. And the Knight of Swords here is what I'm feeling too, is that pick your battles, Aries. If it's something that does not facilitate positive change for you, don't fight that battle. Just walk away from the battle. This Knight of Swords sometimes can rush in. He is looking towards the past, so it does feel like there's a lot of your energy that is in angry about things of the past. You know, we cannot change the past, so I encourage you to look to the future, Aries, which is always much brighter, where we can change things. We can change it in the future. We cannot change it in the past. But it does look like you were very hurt and cut to the bone over something from the past. And it does feel like you are have trouble letting go of that and to walk through that. It may take you a little while longer than other people, but I encourage you to keep trying to release that. Keeping that anger in the past, or the present anger with something from the past, only stands in your way of growth and rents space in your head. It really doesn't do much for the other person that you are angry with. So I encourage you to take that step into the future, release those ills and pains of the past that are not serving you, and start healing yourself a little bit more into your wonderful grand future. So here is the Knight of Wands. That is emotion. Wands are fire signs. This could be a person, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And this feels like a friend that kind of helps you fight your battles, but it's feeling like you need to fight this battle on your own. If you can block out other people's opinions on your actions or situations, it'll be easier for you to clear your mind and make those decisions that ultimately only you can make. So collecting advice here and there and everywhere may make the situation a little more confusing. And it does look like you need to simplify things and just clear your mind so you can figure out the next step just for you. Knight of Wands can be one that rushes in and starts motion and starts some things. So this does feel like sometimes too much opinions can make the situation a little bit more confusing. So I'm feeling like this person wants to be very helpful, but you may have to step away from other people's opinions and their desires over what you would like to do for your future. Your strength, the Strength card is right here, Aries, and that's exactly what it is. It's time to pull up your big girl, big boy pants, have a full latte, and do the hard work. Just thinking about it, just talking about it does nothing except perpetuate kind of more confusion. So it's time to take a step into your greatness, Aries. You are a fire sign, so start the motion. Be strong. To look at the things that you haven't wanted to look at. It does feel like you are been gifted a little bit more responsibility than you had in the past. This could be, a leader of a group of some kind. This could be taking on responsibilities that maybe a partner had that you no longer have that partner. But it does look like your fear is kind of lighting up that you have all these responsibilities or added responsibilities. They're really not added. They are just, they're general responsibilities. So don't be afraid to step in and try this. And if certain new things don't work, you can always turn around and try something else. But it's time to be strong and walk through your fear and to do it anyway. Do it anyway, because it does look like you have been laying back for a while now. And now it's time to be a little bit more responsible for yourself and for others. And, being responsible is just being able to respond to a situation. I had a friend told me that recently. I thought that was a great analogy. So just raise up your ability to respond to whatever is thrown your way. You're very capable, Aries, but it does feel like you allow your fear to hold you back from your greatness or for making a forward motion sometimes. So it doesn't look like you really have that luxury to float. You are going to have to accept some of these responsibilities. And in order for them to be a more positive, progressive movement for you, you'll have to jump in. You'll have to jump in. So this is in the hopes and the fears position. This is the card of abundance. It's the 9. So it does feel like you have kind of waded through a lot of emotions that have come to you over the last couple of months. It does feel like there is some family involved in here. So there may have been a shift in the family dynamics. The patriarch may have passed on, or a shift in a marriage, or a shift in just the dynamics of a household. So it does feel like you are needed a little bit more. You must put a little bit more effort than you're used to putting into things around the home. And it does feel like your abundance is growing with your certainty. But there is a little anger here around the top of the head, a little angry that this has happened. But it's time. It's time for this stuff to kind of take root. And let you know about your capabilities. This card can stand for inheritance. It can stand for abundance. But you know, abundance doesn't necessarily mean just monetary. Abundance is love. Abundance is our friendships, having shelter and having plenty of food. These are all abundant things. So it looks like you have exactly what you need. So it's time to get the ball rolling and make those changes since your abundance is pretty high. It does feel like there's a little bit more of a drain on your finances since your responsibilities have upped. But it does feel like there are ample opportunities in the future to make other or different revenues. The star card is lighting up here as well. And it's time for you to shine is the first thing that pops into my head. It's time for you to shine. Let me address this 4 here. This is one of celebration, one of gatherings, kind of a carefree, joyous, blissful place. It does look like you have hit some heavy things over the last couple of months, and now it's time to celebrate just being alive with the people that truly enjoy you and that you enjoy. You know, people where you can feel 100% comfortable with. You don't have to put on any airs. You don't have to be anything but who you are. So it looks like you are reconnecting with people from the past as well. You know, reunions are happening. High school reunions are happening over here in the United States. So this may be the gathering of old friends from the past at a reunion, family reunion, something like that. But it does feel like getting out a little bit more in the world and connecting with the people that you love, that you haven't seen for quite a while. The star is here. It's time to let your light shine. And the star, you know, it's where we rise to the top. It's also where we I'm feeling that you need to rejuvenate a little bit, that you need to collect a little bit, and find some calmness in you. You know, she is naked and has been stripped of all worldly possessions. So maybe it's time to, I'm feeling, simplify your life, release a lot of the things that have been holding you back. You know, she's releasing with both of her hands here. So she's really dumping a lot of either traditions, legacies, habits, could be even addictions, and really honestly looking at the things that you'd like to change and release. So that's already taken place. And it does look like you're incorporating some great ideas that are coming down from the heavens, reconnecting with the God of your heart and that soul part of you that you may have forgotten that you are a child of God, or you're a child of spirit for those of you that do not subscribe to the God stuff. But we are a part of a very large collective, and sometimes we forget our own importance. So it's time to let your light shine a little bit, release all of the tensions, all of the responsibilities that really do not serve you, and some the frustrations from the past as well. But it really feels like you are having to strip down to get to the nitty and the gritty of this situation. On the other side is the 6 of Pentacles, and Pentacles can mean money, but it does feel like things are getting a little bit more imbalanced for you with money. You are having to put out a little bit more effort than you're used to so you can balance the finances, but it does feel like there's much more going out than there is coming in. That is a temporary situation, but I do feel like you have a couple pokers in the iron here to figure out how to rectify that financial situation and make it roll a little bit easier. It does feel like things are coming into balance, but you must put your foot forward and make that effort. So if you're in a job that does not pay for your bills, it's time to redo your resume and look for another job. There are overtime hours that you can pick up, things like that. But it feels like you're broadening your awareness on how to create more financial return for yourself. Okay, and it does feel like part of your finances has shifted. So for those of you who are in a relationship that has split, when there was two paychecks, now there's only one kind of thing, or there's an extra drain. Could be, move to a new house and you have to pay a little bit more for your rent. So it does feel like a little bit new budgeting and a little bit more creative way of figuring out how to up your finances. So that is your general reading, Aries, for the month of August. I'm going to throw some Angels of Abundance cards here. They're brand new, so they're a little sticky. Ooh, all right, let's pull that one. Deservingness. Okay, you are enough. That does seem to be a theme that is happening for all the signs. All right, that's twinkling for me right there. Let's see what that one is. And savings. Well, there you go. So you are enough. Let's check out what deservedness is. You are a beloved child of God like everyone else, and you deserve to receive the support that will allow you to focus upon your divine life purpose. Even if you can't yet recognize your lovable qualities, trust that God and the angels can see how amazing you truly are. So you do deserve it. You deserve it all. So keep your focus. Be diligent. Aries, you're very diligent. I know money stuff is very scary, but you deserve all happiness in all areas of your life and all areas of abundance, from love to money. Savings. So this is a focus a little bit more on money than it originally looked like. So it does look like coming into balance, but you will have to do a little effort, a little extra effort to make that happen. So as you consistently save for your future is saved. You do your future self a big favor as you consistently set aside present funds. This is a part of your self-care and path to feeling secure as you focus upon your life purpose. So it does look like reining in that kind of frivolous spending. Prioritizing money is really necessary right now, and saving for a rainy day if you can.